round 3. And the Texans getting Tank Dell with the 69th pick. Nice. Giants getting Jalen Hyatt with the 73rd pick. Cedric Tillman goes to the Browns with the 74th pick. Josh Downs to the Colts, 79th pick. Cardinals get Michael Wilson with the 94th pick. In the round 3 wide receivers, we have the Raiders taking Trey Tucker with the 100th pick in the NFL draft. Dan, give me some guys you like, some guys you don't like, and if you would take these guys in round 2.
Yeah, so if anyone's been paying attention, I haven't mentioned my wide receiver 5 yet. Josh Downs is actually coming in as my wide receiver 5 in rookie rankings right now. What people don't realize is he's going to be starting day 1 of the Colts. They don't have a slot receiver on their roster as it stands. So Josh Downs is going to slide right into that slot role. So he will be an almost every snap type of player for the Colts. Now, I'll address the elephant in the room, which is the giant man from Florida. We don't know what this Anthony Richardson offense is going to look like. And I mean, it's probably going to be Gardner Minshew for the first, 4 to 6 weeks of the season. And he's going to get on the field early, and we're going to see early on if he has what it takes to stay at the NFL level. And I think he's just electric enough with the ball in his hands that Shane Steichen is going to see a lot of opportunities, just scheme something to get him the ball and let him make plays after. And if you look at this Colts roster, there's Anthony Richardson, and there's Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. There's a lot of guys that you have to keep an eye on that are big playmakers. And I think Josh Downs, pun intended, can, he's small enough where he'll kind of, hide behind all those guys when it comes to the defense's, eyes. Tank Dell in Houston, I actually love that fit. The Texans wide receiver core is pretty bleak, so he has the ability very early on to step in there, dominate, form a role for himself and establish kind of what I was saying with Mingo and the Panthers. He's going to go through rookie minicamp with Stroud. He's going to go through orientation with Stroud. They're going to become best friends. Do I worry about Tank Dell performing at the next level given his size? Yes, I do. And I said it in a lot of my pre-draft content talking about Nathaniel Dell that I will very easily be off of Tank Dell if I see him not being schemed open, if I see him kind of losing to defensive backs who get their hands on him and kind of bully him around. But I think that this is a ceiling type of landing spot for him. The 2 Tennessee wide receivers, Tim and I on our show were joking around that we do a mock draft Monday show for Dynasty Nerds, and every single week, Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman are always drafted back-to-back. And what would you know, in the NFL draft, they are back-to-back. And I was just checking my wide receiver rankings like right now because we were having some problems at the website before. And what would you know it? Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt are back-to-back my rankings at wide receiver 11 and wide receiver 12. So these two are just destined to be compared for the length of their careers. Hyatt, he has a better shot at a role year 1. He brings something to the Giants offense that the rest of the wide receiver room doesn't have when it comes to a vertical speed element. Cedric Tillman, I am a Browns fan, and I know for a fact that his role in 2023 is not going to be that big. He was drafted because, one, he was good value at where he was. He's a very good wide receiver, but he is being brought on as insurance for if they decide that Amari Cooper is becoming too expensive for what we're getting out of him, or the more likely case where Donovan Peoples-Jones is not retained by the Browns into the 2024 season. So he's kind of like, I've been saying this with a lot of guys so far. It's kind of like a second year type of play. And then we got Michael Wilson, the Stanford wide receiver. He's going to the Cardinals. Listen, I don't know what this Arizona offense is going to look like this year. I don't think it's going to be putting up many points. This is going to be like your late end of the 3rd round, early 4th round stash in rookie drafts where he's just going to live on your taxi squad until Kyler Murray comes back in, late 23 into 24. And then you have an offense in 2024 with Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rondell Moore. It's going to be great. And then Trey Tucker was kind of surprising because I was expecting the other Cincinnati wide receiver, Tyler Scott, to go before him. But The Raiders, they always make questionable decisions when it comes to draft selections. They're like the Packers of the West, if you will.
Over to me, I guess. Probably the one I like the most is Cedric Tillman, to be honest, on the Browns, to be honest. Like Dan said, it's probably not a big 2023 season for him, but in 2024, he mentioned the Mari Cooper thing and the Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, if they go, you have Elijah Moore and then Cedric Tillman with, Deshaun Watson as their quarterback. That's a good quarterback who knows how to throw the ball. So there's opportunity for him to really step into his own in 2024. You're going to get him probably in the third round of drafts. That's something I would probably prefer than going for a guy like Jalen Hyatt, who fell in drafts to the Giants. He definitely has a skill set that is different from a lot of the other Giants players on the team there, but it's hard to trust who's going to see the target share. And do we trust Daniel Jones enough to make multiple or one wide receiver fantasy relevant in the entire season? Definitely a big concern to me. I don't think that's possible, especially with even Darren Waller there now. And if Saquon actually wants to come back to the Giants, that's going to take away from the target share right there. So Jalen Hyatt's going mid to early round 2 still. I'd rather take Cedric Tillman in round 3. Yeah, I like Josh Downs a lot. I'm just concerned about the target share on that offense there. I mean, I really liked Alec Pierce the last year. Michael Pittman's still there. You have Anthony Richardson. I don't know how much they plan on having him throw. He's going into mid-round 2. I probably would rather pass up on that right now than wait to see how Anthony's value is structured or how his role in the NFL starts off with. Tank Dell, wasn't really a big fan of him always. So, I mean, for him, it's just kind of like it's a boom-bust pick. You're either going to hope for the best or it's just not going to work out for him. Again, he's a smaller framed wide receiver. That was one of the big things I didn't like about him. But again, there's potential there, just like Dan said about like him and Mingo. They both have an opportunity to break out on a team that doesn't have a lot of talent at wide receiver. Michael Wilson is definitely someone I'm more interested in as a sleeper. You probably could get him in the 4th round because I did like a lot of things about his route running, his separation. Again, I don't know what the future of this Cardinals offense is going to look like. It seems like DeAndre Hopkins might be staying now. So, but he could end up being a 4th round pick to keep on your taxi squad and see how that goes over the next few seasons. And then Trey Tucker, I don't really understand